Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to another episode of the Muscova Media Podcast. I appreciate all the listeners and great guests that come on with their amazing stories and ideas, and also the listeners that continue to spread word about the podcast and share and help it grow. Thank you so much to our sponsor, Muscova Enterprises, the company that is in charge of doing all the digital marketing for us or whatnot. We do a lot just through the podcast. So I want to thank them because they are a full-service digital marketing company. And as far as the services included, it doesn't stop at just social media posting and content, which is definitely imperative because, you want to make sure you have a good presence on social media or across as many networks as you feel you need to be. But we also do search engine optimization, PPC ads, as well as Google and Facebook and Instagram ads. And we continue to do it there with a good plan, and we make sure that you can win online by also getting your company listed on directories. Also website design and getting you a top-notch professional site that you can easily edit and change yourself, and it looks modern. But we use a lot of cool technology, like we have a client dashboard, user management, different integrations, we do reporting, track forms, also call tracking, and have a CRM system. And we have a website builder built in, as well as activity fees. So I want to thank the company, and I appreciate all the hard work. So also looking to hire some Facebook ad contractors or ad contractors, bring some more on board so that I can continue, reaching out and doing what I do on the other side of things. So thank you to MuscovaEnterprises.com. You can go to MOSCOVA Enterprises.com and you can check all that out, So we want to keep it positive and appreciate, all the good things that are happening in the world. And, let's just keep it, as positive as possible. We do realize that real things are going on in the world, especially with either Asian people now finally starting to wake up and realize, certain things. But for all the Caucasian guys out there and maybe the Caucasian women, I need to really look at your men because they're really struggling right now, and it seems like they feel like using their guns again on the public, which is not that cool. I'm not supporting that at all, which is why I'm saying that if you're listening, need to start checking your white males because they're starting to realize they're not in complete control as they used to be anymore, even though they kind of still are. But for the everyday one, they're kind of struggling with the situation that's going on around the world, and then they've taken it out on people because they truly feel, and maybe they do have inherent rights to the land that they did take over through war. So, I do not like Asians getting messed up because for the most part, they usually took care of our dry cleaning. And now I cannot find any dry cleaners. I literally was driving town to town the other day because I needed to dry clean clothes for a photo shoot. I was literally driving town to town. Then I had to Google search. Who the hell Google searches a dry cleaner? That's like that's like Google searching a supermarket in your own town. Like, you should know where it is, like a corner store, like a dry cleaner. Like, I'm not trying to be a bigot. Shout out to the Mexicans in Woodbridge and Fords that are working in the dry cleaners right now. Seems like my brothers from Mexico are taking over all the jobs. These guys will leave the dry cleaners, then go build a house, then go back to, all right, let me stop. But those are some hardworking people, and I do not like not being able to find the dry cleaners. And let's not pretend like Asian people didn't, or Chinese or Japanese, whatever, didn't rock the dry cleaners in every city, town to town, just like a Chinese food place. Tell me why there's Mexicans cooking up food now, Chinese food. What the hell is going on, man? But anyway, let me not get on my tangent here, but these are some things I've noticed. I don't like not being able to do my dry cleaning. So whoever wants to take over that, please do it. And let's just get things on and popping. I hope that wasn't too rash, but brother, if a brother needs his dry cleaning done, he needs it done, yo. And I'll figure out how to do it. They sell things, but let me get back to focus, because we have an amazing guest today who has been putting in all types of amazing work in the Hollywood space and in entertainment and media, by the name of Bobby Del Rio, who's a critically acclaimed and published playwright and a produced screenwriter. Most recently, Bobby wrote and directed the feature film The Market, and he signed a distribution deal with Parallel Universe Pictures during quarantine. So during quarantine, this guy's putting in that work and getting things done, because the film is currently available on Amazon Prime in the U.S. and the U.K. and Vimeo on demand in Canada. So you can check like a film that he wrote and directed and created right now. Bobby's play, Professionally Ethnic, was a critical success at the 2017 SummerWorks Festival, with Now Magazine including play on lists for Outstanding Play and Outstanding Production. The play was previously published in the prestigious academic journal Canadian Theatre Review. And Bobby served as creator and showrunner of the IRL the series, which was sold to Bell Media for television broadcast. And Bobby also directed the short film Dusk, which was nominated for a 2020 Leo Award. Bobby has been the subject of 2 documentaries, one for Bravo that aired across Canada on television, and one for CBC Arts, directed by Karena Evans. And right now, Bobby is currently based in Los Angeles. I mean, this man has been putting in dope, amazing work. So y'all definitely got to check him out. Bobby, are you on the line, sir?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Honor
Can you
to
hear
have
me?
you on here.
Okay.
Yeah, we hear you.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. It's my first call-in podcast. It's pretty dope. I love what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I definitely like using Blog Talk, because it just makes it a bit easier for the guests to be able to call in from wherever they're at, and then you just process the audio and then spits out to a bunch of networks over in Spain: Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Google Podcasts, and like 15 other ones. But I'm just really proud of finally getting over to another country with iVox, and so now, you're spreading our guests' word, and making it worthwhile for them to be spread across the web. Yet you've been able to create work through visual work that has been spreading across TV screens all over the world. For those that may not be familiar, because you do a lot of work behind the scenes, who is Bobby Del Rio, and what would you like them to know about you?
What I'd like to know about me. Okay, so I'm here in Canada. I've been here about almost 25 years, working professionally in the industry. Now I've relocated to Hollywood, so I have an agent who reps me in LA for acting and writing, and all my projects are going through him, and I'm getting a lot of contracts. So he's just, he's a lot of work for him, which is good. But I guess if I had to define, sort of my footprint as an artist, it's about inclusion and diversity. I guess I've spent my entire career fighting for people of color, for women, for the LGBTQ community, and to be honest, also for the white community, for everyone. Like, I guess I'm all about treating everybody like an equal human being and not discriminating against anybody for any reason. Which it's funny because it's really like a sort of basic Martin Luther King Jr. philosophy. It's Gandhi, it's John Lennon, but it's amazing how many times I get in trouble for just sort of choosing to love everyone in the time where it's so, I think, politically popular to attack people. And I understand all the reasons, and there's so many, like I'm half Chinese, half Italian, so I'm sort of like half white and half not white, so I understand everything, especially with all the Asian hate happening right now. But I'm trying to just stay positive and sort of look at everybody as a human being and sort of like accept and embrace everybody's struggles, but also get us all on the same page to like love each other,
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely something we profess here as well, because being negative towards somebody is like it takes a lot of work and effort sometimes, and just being that light that shines for somebody it could be easier. I don't know if other people find that hard, but for me it's easier just showing people the kind of love that I would want back, despite what they may be going through, who they are, or whatever they feel is right. I'm not God, so I shouldn't really be judging them. And for the most part, we don't know if there's aliens out there, and if there are, we don't know what they'll look like. So if we start discriminating against humans, we will probably have a whole other gamut of problems if these other people around the universe decide to ever show up over here. So that's kind of,
that's
right?
You
never know
we
what's
need
out
each other
there.
to fight the fucking aliens, The aliens are coming. We got to get them.
Yeah, we need to find a way to unite on this planet before we really start trying to explore other ones or other types of beings, if anything. That's been
Sorry, I
something,
dropped
especially
an
with the
F-bomb.
youth.
I'm not allowed.
Oh, no, you're good. No,
I can keep it clean.
No, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, I try to keep it clean for YouTube,
I'm trying
but
to
if
keep it
YouTube
clean
wants
anyway.
to censor, if YouTube wants to censor, so be it. I won't monetize that video. It's no big deal. YouTube does that a lot.
I'll keep it clean. I'll keep it clean.
It's all good. It's all good. We really appreciate how you've been able to, through your work, continue to spread, just not just positivity, but just understanding of everybody, and not using your pedestal to judge others or whatnot. Oh
no, it's quite the opposite. Even I was just going to say, for example, today, one of my rooms on Clubhouse is substance abuse in film and television. And it's really just going through my club. I have a club on Clubhouse, just my name, Bobby Del Rio. And then I run a lot of rooms that are not based to get people. It's just to help the community. So I do BIPOC rooms. I do Asian representation rooms. I do supporting women rooms. And today, I was in a room, and there's actually a lot of people who are struggling with substance abuse during the pandemic in the film and television industry. So I was like, let me just set up a room, because there's people who are sober, there's people who have resources, there's people who can help people who are struggling. That's pretty much what I do, right? I'm just trying to help us all along to just kind of be better and support each other,
Yeah. What kind of inspired you to kind of shift into that mold, to be able to do that freely and not really just focus only about yourself? Was it something that happened in your life, or something you noticed, or that's just how you were since a kid?
I kind of have always been that way, I think. I mean, I'm being half Chinese, half Italian. I was one of the first sort of mixed Asian people around that I knew. And, so my parents, they faced a lot of discrimination, being one of the first, I think, interracial couples. And so all of my parents' friends growing up were Jamaican or Jewish or Pakistani or like basically all the people who were sort of marginalized in the 80s were like my parents' best friends. So I really grew up in a house where everyone was accepted. And so then when I entered the film industry, it's not like that, right? It's like there's a lot of, obviously not everyone, there's quite a lot of people who are very progressive, but especially when I started like almost 25 years ago, you know, especially being a person of color, like you were treated very differently. It's starting to change now, but obviously, you know, with the important work that Black Lives Matter is doing, these issues are still very real. So I guess it's that. And then with the pandemic, I noticed that so many people were struggling, and I would just kind of say positive things, like to just kind of keep people positive and inspired and happy. And then it just kept going from there, where I was like, hey, like I have like, I think 3,500 Facebook friends or something, a lot of whom are strangers. And I was like, hey, like, I know you guys are struggling. If you just need to talk, like just message me. And even if I don't know you, like I'll listen. And then people started messaging me, and I listened, and I realized, man, like the world really needs some love and positivity. And Trump was the president at the time, and I'm in Canada, but he really affects everyone. And so there was all this negative, you know, sort of like vitriol in the media. And I was like, I need to like counterbalance this. Even if it's like 3 people, I just need to like spread love in a sort of leadership way. And then all of a sudden, like every other day, someone would message me and say something like, you're keeping me positive. You keep me going. Like, help me. Thank you so much. And I realized, well, this is what we need. Like, it's, you know, we're sort of in a world where people are not flocking to religion the way they did. And I think people are craving that sort of love and community and spirituality. So I guess I'm kind of just like trying to help people. And for whatever reason, there's a lot of people who are not doing that. They're trying to like exploit and sell and manipulate. And I'm just not about that, man. I just think we need to help each other if we're going to get through this pandemic. So.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like narcissism has rose, and competitivism, or whatever you want to call it, has risen. And it seems, well, it's not all I noticed, but I have noticed it a little bit. You know, people would rather put someone else down just to make sure that they're in a better position, whether it be in business or family and friends. And they almost are willing to really jeopardize someone. And I don't know how prevalent it is all over the place, but just noticing it here in different places, whether it be in my family or different friends. It's kind of, to me personally, it's sickening. I don't like it. I don't want to be a part of it. So when somebody like you know, comes around to counter react that, it's a breath of fresh air, and it definitely gives me like to know that I'm not the only one that is noticing this and trying to be the solution. And you are doing it with some of your work. You've also wrote and directed a feature film called The Market, which is actually right now, people could go check it out on Amazon Prime and Vimeo on demand. Could you tell us a bit about that movie and what it's about and why you chose to put it out?
Yeah, for sure. So it's called The Market. It's like a sort of a gangster movie about Wall Street, but it really more functions as an allegory for capitalism and how really this sort of like greed and narcissism, as you talk about, is sort of like the foundation of like racism and sexism and homophobia. So the movie is misunderstood sometimes because the character, it's unbridled, right? I researched it quite extensively. I replicated their speech patterns. They're very, very aggressive. They're very vulgar. They're very, again, sexist, racist, homophobic, but that's how they speak. You know, I've had 50 to 100 people. It's been a play and now a feature film. And I've gotten a lot of really, really good feedback and a lot of jobs just from people watching the movie. 50 to 100 people in the finance industry say this is 100% accurate. This is exactly how people speak. This is exactly what the culture is. And I think for me, it's important to show this subculture because this subculture is really the subculture creating money at the highest levels of the world. But it's a very destructive environment in terms of ideals and philosophies. And then I think it normalizes racism and sexism and homophobia. And quite frankly, I also, like, I studied economics at the University of Toronto originally, and it's one of the best schools in the world. So I do understand economics at a high level. But I think that, I don't know, there's this sort of myth that you kind of need to be this evil person to make all this money. And I actually think it's the opposite. I think that if we all work together, we can actually all make money together and help each other and build all these communities. Like, I look at the African American community specifically, and it's, you know, that community has been ravaged with poverty, but it's like done on purpose, right? Or it's just negligence, where there's not enough money being pumped responsibly into the African American community. And I say this as a Canadian, Chinese, Italian, but I'm just analyzing it. I'm going, well, this is the problem. Right? You take any community, and if you just suck the resources out, you're going to create like a lot of structural issues. And I think this is what happens over and over again. And it's not only the African American community, but I think that's the sort of most egregious example of where resources are needed. So I guess for me, my movie is just, it's, you know, sort of an engaging way to have these high level political discussions where we can solve problems and help each other. But yeah, you know, I'm just trying to like do what I can to like be a better person, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And that's usually the ultimate goal, because at the end of the day, regardless of who we believe in, when we have to face our creator at the end of the day, we won't be able to use Trump as an excuse on why we acted a certain way or anybody like that. We won't even, I don't think we'll be able to use MLK or Gandhi as an excuse why we did good either. It has to come from us, from inside, and our true intentions. And I definitely feel that's
funny?
important.
I was on Clubhouse. Oh, yeah, I agree 100%. But, you know, it was funny. And, you know, like, I'm obviously not black, although, you know, but I did live in the Bahamas for the first 4 years of my life. So I grew up with all my friends were black, and my whole world is black. So sometimes I feel more comfortable around black people than white people, because I'm not white, I'm not black, but the early years of my life, I believe it was black, right? So I think it took me a while to realize I'm not black. I had to like look in the mirror. I was like, oh shit. But it's funny, because I was listening to this Clubhouse room, and it was black women who were trying to like cancel MLK, and I was like, oh, like, I didn't realize that Martin Luther King could be a divisive figure, because I guess some of the ways he allegedly treated women was unacceptable. And I was like, man, if you can't cancel MLK. I mean, look what he did. But there's really a complexity to, you know, sort of political figures and what they mean. But I do agree with you 100%, dude. It's like, at the end of the day, it can't be this person or that person or what. It's like, it has to be all of us, like right now.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely study the black community, you know, being a person of color myself, even though my family's from Haiti, you know, and came over here by boat or whatnot in the 80s, and moved into the ghetto. Yet they found a way to move out and better their lives and keep pushing. So when it comes to the black community, I don't like to make excuses for them, yet having actually been in certain ones, like ghettos or whatnot, and experienced it, you know, the word ghetto originated from Jewish people being put into like these type of environments. Yet at this current time, you probably would not associate a Jewish person with living in a ghetto or being ghetto. Yet it's become synonymous with black people. And when you go around some of them, not all of them, you know, a lot of times these people are not even really trying to push. They've been so beaten and downtrodden, they're okay with their place. And then sometimes when you go to Newark, some of these people have never left the quote-unquote block. Yet we see Jewish people taking what they've been through and turning it around and becoming an economic power in Hollywood, as well as banking system, or which in the original days, being a banker was looked down upon and handling money. So they took that job and they did it, and they mastered it and became. So I only say these things is, I love my black people, but we're not going to get anywhere by blaming others and by trying to cancel out the people that did try to lead, that were actually put into place. Especially with black women these days, trying to not take over, but black women are a lot of the times confused and not realizing the women's suffrage movement was for Caucasian females that took them in and now having them fight the war for them, when originally the black man and the black woman were united as one in a household. So I don't make excuses for these black women today. But as far as Hollywood and you supporting women, what are some ways that you actually are looking to, help support women in film and TV?
Well, I do a lot of things. I mean, first of all, I definitely provide mentorship and guidance, and I hire them. So I've been hiring female producers on my projects, really my whole career, putting them in positions of power, sometimes at young ages, and letting them run the show. And specifically on Clubhouse, like I have this room, and I have major Hollywood heavy hitters jump on my panels. Pretty much every panel I do right now. I'm one of the most popular film moderators in the Clubhouse space. And so I recognize that. So I'm always trying to take, especially women of color, but all women, and just giving them attention and sort of shouting them out and tagging them, putting them in my event. I'll take some of the top players in Hollywood, and I'll put them on the same panel with an emerging female creative to sort of empower her and give her that status and that access. And I'm very conscious to a friend of mine, Cheryl Bedford, is doing all these amazing initiatives for women of color. Actually, I'm doing a podcast, I do a weekly podcast pretty much about race called Upload every Thursday at 2:00 Eastern. And I have Cheryl as a guest today because I'm just trying to put women, and especially women of color, in positions where they could be more visible, especially people who I know are going to help people. And I'm from the ghetto as well, right? So that's why I understand classism and racism and socioeconomic disparities, but also what you can do to pull yourself out. But I do I'm deeply connected in Hollywood now very quickly, and so I recognize that, and I'm trying to leverage that to help communities, because I think that those of us who've been able to sort of break through, we need to constantly be bringing our arms down to lift up the next generation of leaders from our marginalized communities. And I think that's how we do it is, again, we love each other, we cooperate, we collaborate, we help each other. I think that's the only way this is going to happen.
Yeah, that's amazing. As well as you taking it to an even higher level and actually putting dollars in these women's pockets so that they could continue doing whatever they need to do and take care of themselves. That's almost the definition of economic empowerment or whatnot. So that's actually very resilient and amazing. So I just want to thank you for doing that over the years and giving so many opportunities to all different types of women, whether they be Black or Caucasian or whoever you choose to work with. That's actually very outstanding.
Well, thank you.
Also,
I mean, look, it's.
Oh, and go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I want to just be honest and say it's not always that I'm able to sort of provide a living wage for some of these opportunities, but for some people who want access, I'm giving them access to the top people in the industry. So I'm just doing what I can to help. I mean, it's really just that. I don't really have a plan beyond how can I help? How can I help? How can I help? I'm just sort of asking that question every day, Yeah,
and doing what you can with what you have. And It's not small, and that's part of the reason why your influence has grown on Clubhouse as well as other places, including the different awards that you've been recognized for or whatnot. So it's not being not seen, and you really are doing great work. So as far as your next type of projects, what are you looking to work now on in the future?
Well, I think that my philosophies are pretty clear, right? I'm all about building equity and inclusion for everybody. So those are my principles. I will say I've never worked in Hollywood before. Like, I had this thing that was maybe going to go to the studio and then never happened, but now I'm very legitimately in Hollywood. I have a very good agent, negotiated. So, like, literally contracts being negotiated and selling feature screenplays and whatnot. And I get offers every day now. So it's actually overwhelming because there's so many people who want to work with me. But it's, obviously it's a good problem to have. I will say I feel the responsibility of making the smartest choices available. I'm not driven by money. I'm not driven by attention. Like, I have like 5,000 followers on Clubhouse or something, and I'm getting a lot of interviews, which is cool, but it was never my goal, to be honest. I just, it's very simple what I do. I just try to help people. I try to build community, but I recognize the opportunities that are given my way. So I guess I don't really know exactly what I want to do. I do know whatever I want to do, the goal is to help people as much as possible. So I've gotten also deeply involved in the social entrepreneurship space. So that's basically taking business principles and applying them to solving society's problems. So I'm very interested in like third world poverty, and, like children's healthcare around the world, clean drinking water, environmental issues. And what I think I can offer is, as I get more relationships with Hollywood and celebrities, which I have, I want to leverage that influence to solve these social problems. I think that life cannot be about me. It can't just be about, I've won awards and stuff, but it can't just be about awards and press and money and stuff. It has to be about, like, what can I do to change people's lives for real? Like, I'm writing plays and movies and this kind of thing, but I think very tangibly I can actually directly work with like NGOs and international organizations and find a way to leverage that media influence to change people's lives for real. Like, I'm very interested in doing that right now.
Oh, that's amazing. And there's like, social media and social enterprise is kind of making it a bit easier to create businesses that directly impact different other people. Like my company, Muskova Enterprises, percentage of the funds go directly to charity/NGO in Haiti that create funding for projects and people looking to start businesses or whatnot. So we're not just feeding people a fish for a day, but teaching them how to fish and create, hopefully, something that they could continue for time with their family and pass it down, hopefully. So that's it's called the Zafen, ZAFEN, and it's been great, because it's basically you give out a loan
let me
and
help.
they pay you back.
I love what you're doing.
Oh.
Send me an IG post, something I can share. Post, dude. Let me help you. Just at least promote what you're doing. That's amazing.
Oh wow, thanks. That'd be great. Yeah, because my family's from Haiti, and I just like giving back over there because it's the first free Black republic, yet it's been downtrodden. So I definitely appreciate that, and that just gives me more drive to continue pushing and making that better. But yeah, so you've you're looking to continue helping people through your work or whatnot, and I feel like that's just gonna continue or whatnot. And as you continue just being who you are, and that's amazing. And we're coming to a close here. I know you got other stuff you need to do or whatnot. before we leave, people are looking to reach out to Bobby Del Rio. What are the best ways to connect with you?
So definitely, I'm on Clubhouse, and I do 10 rooms a week now. To be honest, I get modded in maybe 40 stages a week on Clubhouse. I have a pretty growing following, so definitely follow me there. But also on Twitter, I'm at Bobman, Bobman, and then on Instagram, I'm at Bobby Del Rio. I do have to say, because I am getting pitched a lot, which I actually am not so into, because I do have all of these Hollywood connections now and I have this media influence. I definitely want to help people, but there's a lot of people, quite frankly, trying to take advantage of me, where they're literally like, make my TV show, I need $2 million, introduce me to 10 people. And it's come on, guys. Like for what you're doing, giving back to Haiti, that kind of stuff, I'm in 1,000%, because I'm, trying to do my best to help our world. But for those people that are trying to take advantage, it's really disappointing, because I'm a very genuine person. But, I have to protect myself from people trying to use me, which I'm sure you feel as well. You have a platform and people want that. So, reach out if I can help, but be professional and be responsible. But I do respond to everyone, which sometimes gets me in trouble, but, it's just who I am, man. It's I love people. I want to help people. But at the same time, I found there's a lot of people trying to take advantage of me, so I have to sort of be careful.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that you completely realize that. As a person myself, healing from a traumatic brain injury, from getting my jaw broken 2 years ago, by just me talking about the cool things that I've done, and people just getting jealous and things, and me not being in the right places. But but for you, you're going to continue being in the right places and safe and around people that want to help you. And, I just want that's actually a very imperative point that you mentioned, because there's a lot of people out here that just want to sap energy and not really give anything back, or they don't know how to give back, and all they know how to do is ask. And, we kind of live in that society sometimes. But yeah, I just want to pray and hopefully you continue to help people, but be protected, because you sound like you might be like an empath or someone that's keen with their energy. So yeah, that's definitely imperative. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna
also
reach out to you about.
Touch, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, stay in touch. I love what you're doing. I love your vibe. I'm here to help. You know what I mean? Let's be friends, and let me know what I can do. Any positive shit you're doing, I'm down to help.
Thank you so much, sir. That's my heart just got a little lighter. I really appreciate that. And thanks again for taking time out of your busy life and universe to, drop by my podcast and share some more gems and wisdom with people. With a guy that's a pure heart and doing his best to do good. It's I don't know how my shows keep getting better and better. I thought yesterday or the other day was one of the greatest shows, but you just topped it off again, and I thank you so much, and continue to do your great work, and have a really great rest of your day, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. And let me just say, I'm not sure how much attention you get. I want to say thank you too, because I feel the same way about you. I didn't know you, and now you're in my circle. I appreciate you. I appreciate the work you're doing for everybody, and I'm here to help.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And again, all the listeners, he just told you how to reach him, and definitely do that. This has been another great episode of Moscova Media Podcast. And we're going to end on a high note. And thanks again, Bobby Del Rio, and for supporting everybody. And stay blessed. And we'll definitely continue to be connecting. Thank you.
Yeah, we better. I'm going to stalk you.
No doubt.
Peace.
All right. Peace. And there you have it, everybody. Another great episode of Moscova Media Podcast. We will continue doing great things. It's in the works as we speak. So everybody, you know, continue to share the show and spread good word, and we will continue doing good work. And I'm going to end the show with a high note of Bobby. So thank you all, guys. Be sure to check out our website. You know how to find us. It's Google Muscova Media Podcast. And peace out. Love you guys.